Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you all are doing well. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. And if you're not, thank you for coming back. Today, I wanted to do a video talking about my postpartum body recomposition journey, which is essentially just how I was able to lose fat that I gained during my pregnancy and really exchange it for muscle simultaneously. That was my goal. And I posted a picture to my Instagram story a couple weeks ago, and I'll pop it up over here. And a lot of people had a ton of questions. So I just wanted to just share kind of like what my process was and how I got to where I am now. I'll start by saying that weight loss is personal and every single person's body is different. So what may work for me may not work for somebody else. So I think like take what I'm saying as what worked for me, not as a prescription of what you should do or what will work for you. But I really just want to share my story, but in no means am I telling y'all that you need to do this or this is the way or the best way. Simply just my story. So my goal was to lose the fat that I put on during my pregnancy. During my pregnancy, I really saw it as kind of like a final date night because I knew that once me and Corey had our baby, we weren't going to be going out to eat as much and our whole lifestyle was going to be different. So, you know, I ate out more than I typically would and I indulged in more things. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really have the strongest cravings, but I just ate the things I wanted to eat. So I knew that by the time it was all over, I would need to lose some fat. So I'm not talking about just the normal weight that you put on during a pregnancy, but yeah, I ate and added more fat to my body than like just what a normal pregnancy would be. So, and it was by choice, I would say. I knew I'd have to get into the gym and really get serious after the fact, but I just knew that that time frame was not gonna be replicated ever in the future, and I just enjoyed myself. I ate how I wanted to eat, but I definitely knew it was gonna, you know, be something I had to worry about in the future. So yeah, definitely not talking about just the normal weight you gain with a pregnancy. I also want to mention that I was active prior towards being pregnant. So I was lifting weights and being active. I mean, I've always kind of been active, but especially like I'd say like 2 years before becoming pregnant, I was lifting weights, being active. Like it was definitely a priority. So I already built up the muscle of going to the gym and lifting, and I already had a lifting regimen. So I would say the building blocks of my body recomposition journey happened prior to becoming pregnant. I already laid those blocks. I already knew how to lift weights. I already knew proper form because Corey and I used to always work out in the gym prior to us having the baby. Like we would always go together. So I learned how to lift weights already, and I already had that practice and that regimen. And I lifted weights and stayed active all throughout the pregnancy. It's interesting because I was eating clean, but also eating unclean, and also exercising. So I was doing a lot, eating clean, exercising, also eating unclean. So it doesn't take much to really put on fat over a period of time. But yeah, I lifted weights all throughout my pregnancy. Even into the day my water broke. So my point in saying that is the habits, the regimen, the routine, I already laid the groundwork prior. So by the time that I had the baby and I got back into my health and wellness, I was just restarting what I was already doing. So I just think that's really important because I didn't just like have the baby and then begin this new journey. So that's just not my story. It's just picking up kind of where I left off and honestly having to rebuild muscle that I lost during that time. So initially, I waited until I got clearance from my doctor to go back to the gym and working out. Prior to that, I was able to walk, but I really didn't push it early on. Like I wasn't trying to rush back into it. I really was getting to know my baby and spending time healing my body and just spending time at home as a family. But at a certain point, I don't remember how long, maybe like week 6, week 7, whenever they gave me the clearance, I did start going and being more active, but starting more so with walking. And I just noticed that my body did not even feel the same when I did start lifting again. I lost a lot of muscle because although I was lifting during my pregnancy, I wasn't lifting super heavy and I definitely wasn't progressively overloading the weight. So I really had a lot that I needed to regain. And if you had a baby before, you know your body does not feel like itself afterwards. So I just felt super off And it just took time. It took a lot of time for me to build back up to where I was, and just patience and just going and just trying to be moving and being active, but also being patient and knowing like this is a big transition, you know, going from being pregnant and carrying so much weight in your stomach, you know, your whole body gets off balance. So had to spend some significant time recalibrating in the gym. So I definitely started with lower weights and worked my way up over time. And I worked out for, I think in the beginning, maybe like 5 times a week. So yeah, that's really it as far as what I was doing in the gym. I was walking, really trying to just move my body, ease myself back into my fitness. I was working out about 5 days a week and just gradually increasing the weight over time. So at this point, I'm about a year postpartum. My baby came at the end of July and now it's the middle of August, but you know, I've been working on it this whole time. So it wasn't something that I knew was gonna happen overnight, like my body recomposition journey. I just knew I had to show up, be caring to myself, be gentle to myself, and just do the work. I knew it wasn't gonna just happen overnight, and it's taken me a year to get to where I am now, and a year of consistency, a year of showing up, being patient, and just doing the work. Honestly, like it was not a quick fix. So I did exclusively nurse my baby all throughout the first year, and everyone's body is different, like I said, but for me, I definitely found that nursing did not help me lose weight. So I get on the scale every day to track where I'm at, to know how certain things or foods impact my body. And everyone is different, you know, like some people like to track their calories. Some people like to get on the scale daily or weekly. You know, you got to do what works for you. But for me, I like to get on the scale daily to really understand how things are going and how I can track to see if my food is impacting me and helping me go in the right direction. So prior to me getting in the gym and just nursing, I was not dropping weight. Like I dropped that initial baby weight early on. That was literally just the weight of the baby, the placenta, all of those things. I was not anywhere near where I wanted to be. Okay. So, for me, nursing was not helping me lose weight. So I've heard that some people, it does help them lose weight. Some people it doesn't. Some people are super ravenous. You never know what your situation is going to be. But I knew, okay, I'm gonna have to actually get after this thing. So get in the gym, like I said, strength training. So for me, that looks like doing push exercises, pull exercises, leg exercises. And I tend to work in that sort of a split. Oftentimes when I was first getting started, let's say I do leg day, push day, pull, leg day, and then a push pull combination day or something like that. I always make sure to hit those body parts, and that is how we train, and that's how Corey kind of taught me to train, and it works really well for us. So this week I'm working out 7 days just because of our schedule. That's what we chose for this week. Although that's not our norm, I'm gonna do push pull legs twice, so that's 6 days, and then my last day I'm gonna do full body with the dumbbells. So when it comes to finding a regimen and for your exercise, you gotta do what works for you. I do enjoy lifting weights. I find that I enjoy feeling strong. It's made, honestly, carrying my baby so much easier because it doesn't take much for me to carry him around. Like at this point, he's over 25 pounds and it's nothing to me, you know, because I really be in there lifting weights. And I mean like a lot of weight, but it makes me feel energized. And when I come home, I tend to have energy. I don't feel depleted from my workouts. Whereas if I were to go like running, I would probably feel tired, and I don't particularly like that. So I like to do low impact strength training mixed with walking. That works for me. So you have to figure out what works for you and just do that and do it consistently, because you're never gonna see progress if you're not consistently showing up. But like I said, nursing didn't really do it for me. I had to really just get in there and get after it. I don't know if people would be like, oh, I wonder if she was on weight loss drugs. I was not. I don't personally want to do that. But you also can't do that when you're nursing either. So if you're like, oh, I wonder if she was, no, okay, I was getting after it the old-fashioned way. So as far as my diet goes, I really had to prioritize eating whole foods. One of the things I cut out mainly and intentionally was like fried foods, processed, like super processed foods. So I found just from listening to my body that my body does not respond well to super fried foods like chips or things like, I don't know, like funnel cakes or things that are extra fried or like donuts. I can better process like a home cooked cookie than a donut. And my body just doesn't love those seed oils. So if I were to bake anything, if I'm using butter or milk or eggs, my body does better with that than if I'm eating something that's deep fried. That's just how my body is. And I've noticed that over the years that I just don't do the best with oils. So aside from that, I really try to eat mainly whole foods, and I aim for high protein. I would say at this point, I'm probably getting like over 100 grams of protein a day. So I'm really prioritizing grass-fed beef, pasture-raised eggs, grass-fed milk. I like tuna. What else? Sometimes I'll eat chicken. You know, I really try to keep it high protein because if you're gonna be going to the gym and you're gonna be exercising, you wanna make sure you're fueling your body so that you can actually see the biggest bang for your buck. I personally do not like wasting my time. So if I'm gonna be waking up, leaving my newborn at home with Corey and going to the gym, best believe I'm trying to see progress. I'm not in there trying to waste time. So I always felt like that, but I definitely feel like that since having a baby. I just need to be efficient. I don't have time to be playing around, trying to reach this goal for 5-10 years. Like, no, let me just be focused and get it done. Okay, so not quick, not overnight, but just literally I need to be making progress. So that's why I like to get on the scale daily, is to make sure I'm going in the right direction. So yeah, I try to eat mainly whole foods. I minimize processed foods. I completely cut out things like chips. I just don't bring that in the house anymore. I would say for me, like my sweet spot was baking, because we had the baby towards the end of the summer into the fall. I wanted to do a lot of baking. So I tried to work it in a way where I could have a little bit of balance, where I'm eating really clean Monday through Friday, going to the gym Monday through Friday, and then I would allow myself to bake one thing on the weekend. And like I said, for my body, baking certain things that have whole ingredients, my body responded better to. So I was still able to continue to go down under those parameters and just not overdo it. But as I progressed month after month after month, I knew I needed to be more and more dialed in the further I wanted to go and the closer I wanted to get to my goals. So yeah, starting off early on, I could bake once a weekend, and that was so much better than how I was eating before. Plus exercising, I was able to still see things go in the right direction. But as time progressed, I had to reel it in more and more and more. I think one thing about the way that we eat is we just gotta be honest with ourselves. So if that means for you, you need to track how you eat for a week, 2 weeks to understand where you're at, then so be it. I kind of have an understanding. If I'm eating whole foods mainly, I'm seeing the progress that I need to see. That's just me. And if you're familiar with my content, I cut out drinking caffeine and coffee, gosh, over 2 years ago. So if I could cut out caffeine, I can do pretty much anything, because that was probably the hardest things for me to cut out of my diet was caffeine. And I have videos on that if you want to see my whole story about that. Another thing is Corey and I did eat out here and there, but we were limited. So we never wanted to eat out several days in a row. Maybe we would be like, okay, let's eat out on Friday. Let's eat out on Saturday. Like, we weren't perfect, but the benefit of me getting on the scale is I can see like, okay, I made all this progress Monday through Friday. I ate out on Saturday, and now I can see it going a different direction. You know, I would be encouraged to, okay, let me get back on track. So as far as eating goes, I really try to eat in a way that I enjoy. I don't believe that eating healthy has to be unenjoyable. So for me, I eat things that I like. I like yogurt parfaits, for example. So I make my own granola, which is very easy and way cheaper than buying granola out. Oftentimes tastes better. You can customize what you put in it, and it doesn't have all those processed oils and stuff in it, for example. So I'll make my own granola, and I'll pair it with yogurt, fruit, honey, that's enjoyable to me, you know? I do protein smoothies that are super creamy and just taste great. So it literally tastes like you're drinking like a big, I'm not gonna say milkshake, but a very creamy, decadent drink, okay? Or if I'm eating like eggs and beef, like, or whatever, the food I make tastes good. Not to mention, in the fall time, I was making a lot of soups, and I'm just telling y'all, when you're eating clean, it doesn't have to be disgusting tasting. Like, I'm not sitting here eating like a chicken breast, rice, broccoli. No, I'm making meals that I enjoy. If you really want to be able to do something long term, you have to find a way to enjoy it. So yeah, I had balance. I would bake sometimes we would go out to eat, but most of the time, whole foods, cooking it at home. There's really no way around that from my personal experience. So aside from how I ate and how I exercised, also I remained hydrated. That was really important to me. So just making sure that I'm staying hydrated. I like to make sure I'm up on my electrolytes, and also getting adequate sleep. Now, granted, when you first have a baby, you can only sleep so much. So I'm not particularly talking about that time. But at this point, when my baby's sleeping through the night and, you know, I prioritize sleep. Like, we're shutting things down around here pretty early, probably like trying to get to bed around 9 o'clock, okay? And then I wake up around 6 something, do the whole workout. It's a very regimented thing. And another thing about that is with having like structure, I know I'm going to the gym in the morning. I know what workout I'm gonna be doing already. So I'm not going in there on my phone like, okay, what am I gonna do today? Like, it's muscle memory for me. It's push day, I do these 5 exercises. It's leg day, I do these 6 exercises. I literally don't even have to think about it. So when I go to the gym, it's not as fun because I'm not going with Corey anymore, but I put in like a podcast, try to double it. And I think the term is habit stacking. When you're doing one thing that is productive, stack it with something else, which is also productive. It's like positively reinforces you in the direction of what you're doing, in the direction of where you're going. So I'm working out, exercising, also listening to podcasts about personal finance, because that's something that I really wanted to learn more about during that time, specifically about investing. So I listened to investment podcasts, I exercise, and now I just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Come home, take a shower, feed my baby. It was a lot. I'd have to feed him before I go to the gym, feed him when I come back. You know, I'm in this thing. But one thing that I can say for sure is I prioritize taking care of myself because it's important to me. And I'm grateful to have a spouse that helps me to prioritize it. Like, Corey wants me to be able to take care of myself the same way he wants to take care of himself. And we really have a collaborative approach about our wellness, and that is so important. And I want Elijah to grow up and to see how important us taking care of our bodies as temples of the Holy Spirit is, and then he can be encouraged to do the same in his life. So it's not negotiable for me. And for me, my journey was not about like, oh, I want to snap back. That's not true. I want to be healthy. I knew that I put on unnecessary fat, so I wanted to get it off. Like, if I could go back, I don't particularly think I would do anything different. Maybe I would have ate a little bit less, but I really had the time of my life at the same time. So it is what it is. Now that I'm here, I had to put in the work to get back to where I was. It was a lot of work. But, I'm very grateful that I stayed the course and I continued on. But all in all, it really comes down to moving your body, whatever that looks like for you. If you like to walk, walk. If you like to lift weights, lift. If you want to swim, run, whatever, do what you enjoy and do it consistently. Eat clean most of the time. If you're really, really, really trying to see some progress, eat clean like 99% of the time for a finite period of time. Say, okay, I'm gonna eat super clean for 2 months, for 6 weeks, for 4 weeks, whatever, and really be dialed in. And if you're wondering what is clean, non-processed foods, things that are whole. You want to prioritize whole foods and also protein and fiber. And you'll find if you eat foods that are high in protein, high in fiber, you will be more satisfied and you won't be hungry. But if you're eating processed things like crackers and cheese, like that's not going to be filling, like as a meal or as a snack. It's just not going to be filling. Not the cheese, but more so the crackers. Because I used to be a cheese and crackers girl, okay? But I can't sit around eating crackers all day. Like that goes into the category of the chips, you know, highly processed, has oils in it. I just can't do that and think I was gonna see the progress I wanted to see. So for me, I kind of had to get honest with myself and realize, okay, these are the habits I created when it comes to how I'm eating, and they're not going to get me to where I want to go. I just wanted to be healthy. Like, it's really not much more to it. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be strong. I didn't want to start off my whole motherhood journey tens of pounds heavier than where I felt comfortable, you know? So I just wanted to be in my healthy, strong self. So I'm very proud of where I was able to go. So if you're looking to have a wellness journey, honestly, find a way that you can enjoy it for yourself. For me, it was listening to podcasts. It was showing up for myself, caring for my body, knowing that when I exercise, my mental health is better, knowing that when I move my body, my dopamine goes up, knowing that when I'm choosing this healthy food over the super processed food, I'm actually going to feel better later. One thing I've definitely realized over the past year and just in general is that my body and myself, I actually enjoy eating clean. Like, so find ways to make your food enjoyable, make your meals good, you know, get creative, look at recipes. And if you're not sure what to do in the gym, look online at, you know, leg day for women or push day, pull day. Like, do your research and learn as much as you can. Take the time to do that for yourself so you can show up for yourself in that way. So like I said, for me, this is not about snapping back. It's literally just about being a better steward of my body and just taking care of myself, because we only have one body, okay? And I just want to be a good steward of my body, and stewardship is such an important principle in my life. And it's something that as a wife, as a mom, as a woman of God, that it's something you really got to live out. So, you know, getting my flesh in order and just saying, you know what, we're not gonna just feed the flesh all day long. We're gonna make some tough decisions. And if you are on a fitness or wellness journey, you'll see that over time you start to crave the structure. You start to enjoy the routine and knowing what to expect day to day. That's it. Super proud of where I was able to go. From my before to my after. And, you know, I would say as far as what's next, just continuing to be clean, continuing to live in moderation. Yes, I will still have sweets occasionally. Yes, I will still eat out here and there. But as long as I'm eating clean, whole foods, oftentimes cooked at home, for the majority of the time, I figure that is a win. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye.